3A and Thouge. Rosemary's Baby is a horror novel by Ira Levin, published in 1967. The story is set in the late 1960s in New York City and revolves around Rosemary Woodhouse, a young newlywed woman, and her husband, Guy, a struggling actor. The couple moves into the Bramford, an old and prestigious building on the Upper West Side, where they meet their eccentric neighbors, the Castevets. As Rosemary becomes pregnant, she starts to suspect that her neighbors and her husband are part of a sinister cult that wants to use her baby for their own purposes. She begins to have disturbing dreams and hallucinations and feels increasingly isolated and helpless. Meanwhile, Guy's acting career takes off after the sudden death of a rival, and he seems to be more interested in his own success than in his wife's well-being. As the due date approaches, Rosemary becomes more and more convinced that her baby is in danger. She seeks help from her obstetrician, Dr. Sarstein, who is also a member of the cult. When she goes into labor, she is drugged and taken to the Castevets' apartment, where she gives birth to a son. In the final scene, Rosemary is confronted with the true nature of her baby and the cult that brought him into the world. Rosemary's Baby is a chilling and suspenseful novel that explores themes of paranoia, isolation, and the corrupting influence of power. The novel was a critical and commercial success, and it has been adapted into a film, a television miniseries, and a Broadway play. It is considered a classic of the horror genre and remains a popular and influential work of fiction. The novel's success lies in the way it uses horror to tap into the fears and anxieties of its readers. Rosemary's experiences of being isolated and helpless, her mistrust of those around her, and her sense of being trapped in a situation beyond her control, all strike a chord with readers. The novel also touches on the issue of women's reproductive rights, as Rosemary is essentially robbed of the choice to have a child and to make decisions about her own body. This theme is still relevant today and adds a layer of social commentary to the novel. Levin's writing style is simple and direct, with a focus on plot and character development. The novel builds tension gradually, and the horror is more psychological than visceral, with the real terror coming from what is suggested rather than what is explicitly shown. Rosemary's Baby is a classic of the horror genre that still resonates with readers today. It is a haunting and disturbing portrayal of the corruption of power and the vulnerability of the human psyche, and it remains a must-read for fans of horror and suspense. The novel also explores the theme of the supernatural, with the cult's practices and beliefs hinting at the possibility of supernatural forces at work. However, Levin leaves it up to the reader to decide whether the events in the novel are purely human in nature or if there is something more sinister at work. The characters in the novel are well developed and believable, with Rosemary's gradual descent into madness portrayed with nuance and sensitivity. Guy, too, is a complex character, torn between his desire for success and his loyalty to his wife. The novel's setting in New York City adds a layer of realism and authenticity to the story, with its depiction of the city as both glamorous and sinister. The Bramford, too, is a character in its own right, with its dark history and ominous atmosphere adding to the sense of dread. In conclusion, Rosemary's Baby is a classic horror novel that explores themes of power, paranoia, and the supernatural. Levin's writing style is direct and engaging, and the characters are well developed and believable. The novel's relevance and influence can still be felt today, and it remains a must-read for fans of horror and suspense.